It's part one of Local 6 Legal Line on today's Midday. Mark Bryant of the Bryant Law Center in Paducah, our guest, and our topic is dog bites. And if you have a question regarding a dog bite, 1-888-208-6946. And Mark, talking about dog bites, probably something that doesn't come up a lot, but it does come up every so often, and dog bites are to be taken pretty seriously. In fact, we had somebody send in a question, so I had to write this down, so let me read it to you. It says, I was over at a friend's house when their dog attacked my 5-year-old son. We had to go to the ER. My now ex-friend says it's not their fault because my son was teasing their dog and they're refusing to help with the bills. Can I file a lawsuit to get money to cover the bills, and will the dog have to be put down?
Well, I got to tell you, you'd be shocked at how many dog bites there are in the community. We've handled a bunch of them over the years. And in fact, we had a case over in Ballard County a few years ago where some child was mauled to death in a dog bite case. But those are strict liability cases, which means that whoever owns the dog is responsible for what the dog does. There's another thing called comparative negligence, which could mean that if you're over there teasing the dog, you may well be partly responsible for it. But a 5-year-old child, which is the age that child, I think you said it was, they're too young to have any kind of liability. So in my opinion, you won't even have to file a lawsuit. All you need to do really is talk to a lawyer that knows what they're doing, that does this kind of thing often. They would do it on a contingency fee, which means, like at our office, you don't pay anything until we win your case. And when the case is ultimately settled, or if a lawsuit's filed, the money would come in to help pay the child for the bites. But be sure you take photographs of the dog bites so that you can prove that, because that's a terrible thing, and some of these dogs can really bite a plug out of a person or a child.
I have a question from someone who says, taking my daily walk, 2 dogs bit me. I had to get shots and medical care. Are the dog owners responsible for my medical bills?
I hope to tell you they are, and that once again is strict liability in Kentucky. Well, we had a case a couple of years ago where a bicycle rider was in a race and a dog ran out in front of him that was supposed to be leashed. And like in Paducah, for example, there are leash laws. You're supposed to have your dog leashed. And anyhow, long story short, the dog owner had liability, and this guy was paralyzed, had brain injuries. The dog owner's homeowner's insurance paid it, and in all likelihood, your insurance policy would pay it. So it's important that you go to a lawyer that knows what they're doing, that deals with this kind of thing, and they'll write a letter to the person that owned the dog, tell them to turn over the policy, and if they don't, then we'll file a lawsuit against them.
We'll tackle one more question here real quick, Mark, before the end of this segment. We have someone who says they were out walking their dog. Their dog was attacked by a neighbor's dog. Now, the dog owner here was not hurt, but their dog was. Ended up with $400 in medical bills, and the owner of the dog that attacked them says they're not going to pay it. Is there anything they can do?
Yes, there is. In fact, the first thing I would do, I'd call animal control about that dog, because it's not supposed to do that. And the second thing is, I would demand a copy of the insurance policy of those people, and if they don't give it to you, you can file in small claims court, and you would get a judgment against them for that, and you'd recover that amount of money.
Mark Bryant, our guest on part 1 of Local 6 Legal Line, and guess what? Mark will be back for part 2. We've been talking about dog bites. We can continue that if you have a question, but if not, we'll be talking about vehicular accidents. Trucks, cars, motorcycle, all the above. Give us a shout. Numbers on the screen. Back in a second with more Midday and Local 6 Legal Line.